Max's paws scuffed against the litter-strewn floor as he tried to find footing. His fur, once shiny, was matted and dull, a testament to months of neglect. The air was thick with dust and decay. Harold sneered, tossing a half-empty bowl across the room. Max flinched, curling against the corner. The small kitten Milo shivered nearby, his eyes wide with terror. Max growled softly, instinctively shielding him. Lila's voice suddenly cut through the stale air. "Stay calm, Max. I'm here to help." Sunlight streaked through broken blinds, highlighting the devastation. Max's chest heaved as hope flickered. Could freedom really be this close? Max and Milo cautiously followed Lila through the narrow, cluttered hallway. Every step echoed their uncertainty. "It's okay, you're safe now," Lila whispered, her hand extended gently. Max glanced at Milo, who hesitated, ears flicking nervously. The stench of mold and decay filled the air, but Lila's calm voice cut through the tension. Harold lingered behind, his expression twisted with indifference, muttering complaints about lost time. Max's heart pounded as he scanned the environment for escape routes. For the first time in months, he sensed a sliver of hope. Could freedom really feel this close? The three animals and Lila entered a larger room stacked with debris. Max's nose twitched at the overwhelming scent of mold and decay. Milo's small mews echoed softly, reverberating through the empty space. Lila knelt to meet their gaze, whispering reassurances. Harold's shadow stretched along the far wall as he lingered, indifferent. Max's body tensed, muscles coiled for defense. Yet a flicker of curiosity stirred. Could trust exist here? Lila's hands moved gently, inviting, not forcing, while Max's eyes softened slightly. Milo stepped closer to her warmth, and a fragile connection began forming. Max sniffed cautiously around the room, alert to every creak. Milo mimicked his movements, tail low, ears flicking nervously. Lila encouraged them softly, offering food and warmth. Harold's gaze remained cold, a stark contrast to her gentle smile. Dust hung in the air, illuminated by the slanted sunlight cutting through broken blinds. Max's muscles relaxed incrementally, sensing safety. Milo ventured closer, brushing against Max's side. Lila's patience and calm presence slowly dissolved the animal's fear. Harold muttered complaints under his breath, but his influence waned against the tide of compassion in the room. Lila guided Max and Milo to a corner cleared of debris. The kitten hesitated, then hopped onto Max's back. Lila chuckled softly, reassuring them both. Harold slouched nearby, watching silently, his influence waning. Max's eyes tracked every movement, scanning for threats, but slowly softened. Milo's tentative purr filled the room, a sound Max had almost forgotten existed. For the first time in months, Max felt a spark of relief. Lila crouched, gently stroking Max's head, whispering, "You're safe now." The air shifted. What once reeked of neglect now carried the faint scent of hope and care. The morning sun streamed through cracked windows as Max and Milo cautiously explored their temporary refuge. Lila had cleared a small space, placing soft blankets and a food bowl. Max sniffed the air, wary but curious, while Milo pawed at the blanket's edge. Lila spoke softly, reassuring them, "Take your time, you're safe now." Outside, birds chirped, and distant city sounds hinted at life beyond the room. Harold lingered outside the doorway, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Max's tail twitched, sensing tension. Milo hid briefly under a blanket, then peeked out. Every sound was new, every shadow uncertain, yet hope flickered steadily. Lila guided Max and Milo to a small yard outside. Fresh grass and morning dew made Max's paws tingle, while Milo's tiny paws sank slightly into the soil. Lila knelt, brushing leaves from the path, encouraging exploration. Harold lingered by the fence, scowling, muttering complaints about wasted effort. Max sniffed everything, ears twitching, while Milo cautiously followed. Lila's presence radiated calm authority, making the animals gradually relax. Birds fluttered above. Sunlight warmed the dew, and Max took his first confident steps outside in months. Milo squeaked softly, testing the open space, and Max nudged him forward. Trust and freedom were slowly unfolding. A sudden noise startled Milo, and he bolted toward Max, who barked softly to calm him. Lila quickly intervened, kneeling, arms wide, whispering encouragement. Harold's voice rang from behind, sharp and intrusive, making the moment tense. Max positioned himself between Milo and the noise, muscles tense, eyes sharp. The wind rustled leaves, shadows shifting across the yard. Lila's calm energy countered the fear, and slowly Milo returned to Max's side. Every small step outside reinforced their newfound courage. Max's tail wagged slightly, signaling trust, while Milo pressed close. Even in Harold's presence, safety and warmth began to dominate their senses. Max and Milo explored further into the yard, under Lila's watchful gaze. A small puddle reflected the sky, and Max sniffed curiously, paws splashing lightly. Milo followed cautiously, tail twitching, sniffing the wet grass. Harold muttered complaints about wasted time, but remained distant. Lila crouched beside the animals, encouraging gentle exploration. The sun brightened, shadows retreating, warmth spreading across their fur. Max nudged Milo gently, encouraging him to investigate the new textures. Every sound, every movement outside became a lesson in curiosity, confidence, and trust. Harold's presence felt increasingly irrelevant as freedom settled around them. As the day progressed, Max and Milo became more confident, racing along the grass, playful energy replacing earlier fear. Lila laughed softly, her hands guiding Milo gently back when he veered too far. Max barked once, then wagged his tail happily. Harold remained silent, leaning against the fence, begrudgingly observing. Sunlight illuminated the yard, casting long, warm shadows. Max nudged Milo to climb onto a small rock, encouraging exploration. Lila crouched, clapping gently, celebrating their small victories. The bond between Max, Milo, and Lila strengthened with every movement. Harold's negativity faded against the backdrop of joy, warmth, and newfound freedom. Twilight descended, painting the yard in shades of orange and purple. Max rested beside Milo, both eyes reflecting the fading sunlight. Lila adjusted a small lantern, casting soft light across their faces. Harold lingered near the gate, expression unreadable, his shadow stretching long. Max nudged Milo gently, sensing his unease. Lila knelt, murmuring encouragement. "You've done well today, little one." The wind rustled leaves, carrying a distant city hum. Every sound felt sharper as the night crept closer. Milo stretched cautiously, trusting Max's warmth. Lila's calm presence shielded them from fear, while Harold's silhouette became less intimidating in the evening glow. A distant bark echoed, pulling Max's attention. Milo crouched, tail flicking nervously. Lila rose, scanning the surroundings, her expression alert yet calm. Harold stepped closer, but Max growled softly, a protective warning. Shadows danced as the wind stirred, branches creaking. Milo pressed against Max, seeking reassurance. Lila held her hand out, whispering, "It's okay, stay close." The yard felt alive with movement, every rustle a reminder of the outside world. Max barked again, louder this time, asserting presence. Milo's ears twitched, curiosity balancing fear. Together, they faced the approaching uncertainty, Lila's steady guidance anchoring them. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes revealed a stray cat, cautious and alert. Max's tail stiffened. Milo froze beside him. Lila stepped forward slowly, offering a gentle voice. "We're friends here." Harold watched silently, an unreadable smirk forming. The stray's green eyes blinked warily, its body low to the ground. Max lowered his stance, curiosity overtaking caution, while Milo inched forward. The wind shifted, carrying the scent of distant rain. Lila extended a hand, bridging the gap between animals. Moments passed in tense silence, then the stray's tail twitched, signaling curiosity. Max wagged slightly. Milo followed, and the first connection began forming outside their immediate circle. Rain began lightly, droplets pattering on leaves. Max shook his fur, Milo ducking close to Lila's legs. Lila guided them under a small canopy, smiling despite the drizzle. Harold huffed, shaking his coat, muttering under his breath. Max sniffed the air, sensing the changing weather, while Milo's fur glistened with raindrops. The stray cat cautiously followed, intrigued by the playful duo. Lila knelt, offering her jacket as shelter, bridging trust among all the animals. Thunder rumbled softly in the distance, but warmth radiated from the small group. Even Harold's frown softened slightly as he observed the bond forming. Rain became a gentle rhythm, underscoring newfound companionship. Night fell, stars beginning to peek through scattered clouds. Max curled up beside Milo, who purred softly, comforted. Lila adjusted blankets, ensuring both were warm. Harold leaned against the fence, silent but attentive. The stray cat had settled nearby, its eyes glowing faintly. The yard felt safe, a haven amidst the night. Max twitched in his sleep, Milo nuzzling closer. Lila whispered reassurances, brushing Milo's fur gently. Even Harold's stern posture seemed softened under the calm night sky. A quiet harmony enveloped them, the bonds of trust and care finally stronger than fear. Tomorrow promised more adventure, but tonight, peace reigned. Morning sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting warm patterns on the wooden floor. Max stretched, shaking his fur, and Milo yawned, kneading the blankets with small paws. Lila sipped her coffee, watching them with a gentle smile. Harold leaned on the doorway, rubbing his eyes, quietly observing. The peaceful morning felt like a reward after the tension of past days. Max trotted to the window, tail wagging, while Milo jumped beside him, curious about the outside world. Lila placed her hand on Milo's head, murmuring encouragement. Harold finally smiled faintly, letting the quiet moment settle over them. Even the stray cat lingered nearby, basking in soft sunlight. The day promised new beginnings. A sudden chirping from outside drew their attention. Max pricked up his ears, Milo's tail twitched. Lila approached the window, peering at the garden where birds flitted among blooming flowers. Harold stepped closer, intrigued despite himself. Max barked softly, signaling curiosity rather than alarm. Milo followed, hopping lightly onto the windowsill. The breeze carried the scent of morning dew and fresh blossoms. Lila laughed quietly, pointing to a small butterfly hovering near the fence. Harold crossed his arms, observing silently, his expression softening. Max wagged his tail, Milo pounced gently toward the garden reflection. Life outside mirrored the calm and hope within. By noon, the group had ventured into the backyard. Max sniffed every corner, tail wagging energetically. Milo darted between flower beds, pouncing on drifting leaves. Lila followed slowly, enjoying their exploration while carrying a small basket of gardening tools. Harold trailed behind, awkwardly helping lift plants and tidy the garden. The sun shone brightly, casting vivid shadows and highlighting the vibrant greens. Max barked in excitement, Milo chased his own tail, and Lila laughed softly. Harold glanced at them, a rare smile tugging at his lips. The yard buzzed with life, small insects flitting through sunlight. Harmony blossomed among humans and animals alike, a perfect afternoon of shared joy. Afternoon clouds rolled in, softening the sunlight. Max and Milo rested under a large tree, tongues out, panting from play. Lila pulled a blanket across the grass, guiding them to shade. Harold leaned against the tree trunk, sketching quietly in a notebook. Max watched birds in the branches, Milo curled against Lila's side. The gentle breeze stirred leaves above, creating dancing shadows. Lila spoke softly. "Nature has its own rhythm, doesn't it?" Harold nodded, focused on his sketch, occasionally glancing at the animals. The stray cat explored nearby, finding comfort in the calm. Time seemed suspended, a pause in the world's chaos. Together, they shared a silent understanding of peaceful coexistence. Evening arrived, sky painted in deep oranges and purples. Max lay curled on Lila's lap, Milo nestled against him. Lila hummed softly, brushing their fur, while Harold set down his notebook, gazing at the sunset. The stray cat perched on the fence, eyes reflecting the fading light. Warmth and quiet companionship filled the yard. Max twitched in his sleep, Milo purred contentedly. Lila whispered to them, "Tomorrow holds more adventures, but tonight is ours." Harold nodded, leaning back against the fence. Shadows stretched long, blending with the amber sky. The animals, humans and stray, shared a perfect moment of unity and trust, the end of the day sealing their bond. The morning air was crisp, carrying the scent of wet grass and blooming flowers. Max and Milo darted around the yard, full of energy after a long night of rest. Lila prepared breakfast on the porch, humming quietly as she set bowls of food. Harold lingered nearby, sipping his tea, observing the playful duo. The stray cat stretched lazily on the fence, eyes half closed in contentment. Max barked happily at a fluttering leaf. Milo leapt after it, paws barely grazing the ground. Lila chuckled at their antics, brushing Milo's fur after a playful tumble. Harold finally smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across his features. Life felt lighter, a new chapter unfolding naturally under golden morning light. By late morning, Lila and Harold prepared a small garden corner for planting new flowers. Max rolled in the dirt nearby, tail wagging while Milo chased butterflies around the flower beds. Lila laughed as Harold struggled to plant a stubborn sapling, teasing him gently. The sun shone brightly, casting warm highlights on leaves and faces. Max barked softly at a bird that landed too close. Milo paused mid-chase, staring curiously. Lila encouraged Harold to dig carefully, her hands brushing dirt from his palms. Even the stray cat watched intently from the fence, ears twitching. The simple work brought laughter and connection, the group moving together in shared purpose and calm. Afternoon brought a gentle rain shower, drizzling over the yard. Max shook his fur, droplets scattering in sparkling arcs. Milo sat under Lila's umbrella, ears flattened, watching the rain with fascination. Lila laughed, letting the water mist her hair, while Harold held a tray of snacks, still smiling. Max bounded through puddles, Milo pounced on tiny splashes, and the stray cat sought shelter under a nearby bush. The rhythm of rain and playful animals created a symphony of gentle sounds. Lila's voice carried softly, "Even storms have their joy." Harold nodded, watching Max leap, feeling a rare serenity. The rain washed away the day's tension, leaving a clean, joyful calm. The rain ceased, leaving the yard sparkling with droplets on leaves and grass. Max shook himself again, spraying the remaining water, Milo chasing the shimmering droplets. Lila clapped her hands, guiding the two into a dry blanket laid on the porch. Harold fetched warm towels, quietly helping, his expression soft and attentive. The stray cat cautiously approached, sniffing the fresh earth. Sunlight began breaking through clouds, casting long, glimmering beams over the scene. Max rested with paws crossed, Milo nestled beside him, while Lila brushed their damp fur. Harold observed, feeling a contented stillness. Every corner of the yard reflected life, warmth, and simple connection among the group. Evening fell, painting the sky in shades of violet and gold. Max lay with his head in Lila's lap, Milo curled on his back, purring softly. Harold sat nearby, notebook forgotten, eyes reflecting the last rays of sunlight. Lila whispered gently, stroking both animals, "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Max twitched in sleep, Milo's tail flicked contentedly. The stray cat perched on the fence, watching silently, eyes calm. The yard glowed with the warmth of unity and shared peace. Lila and Harold exchanged quiet smiles, knowing that the bond between humans and animals had transformed every shadow of the past into light. The night promised rest, dreams, and a hopeful tomorrow. The first light of dawn spilled across the yard, painting every blade of grass with golden shimmer. Max stretched luxuriously, tail wagging as he sniffed the morning air. Milo perched on the fence, his small frame silhouetted against the rising sun, whiskers twitching. Lila sipped her tea, wrapped in a soft shawl, eyes scanning the horizon thoughtfully. Harold adjusted his backpack, preparing for a walk along the nearby trail. The stray cat slinked quietly between bushes, ears alert to distant bird calls. Max bounded toward Milo, yipping happily, and Milo leapt down to join the chase. Lila laughed softly, the warm light casting gentle shadows across her face. A new day promised adventure, hope, and unexpected joy, filling the quiet yard with gentle motion. By mid-morning, the group ventured toward the forest trail beyond the yard. Max led with exuberance, nose close to the ground, tail wagging with unstoppable energy. Milo followed, leaping over roots and rocks, ears flicking at distant bird calls. Lila held a map, checking the path carefully, occasionally pointing out wildflowers. Harold carried a small backpack with essentials, pausing to observe the landscape, his face thoughtful. The sunlight filtered through tall trees, creating dappled patterns on the forest floor. Max barked playfully at a fallen branch, Milo swatted at a fluttering leaf, and the stray cat watched silently from a higher branch. Nature breathed around them, alive, encouraging connection, movement, and quiet wonder. In the heart of the forest, a gentle stream meandered across mossy stones. Max lapped at the cool water, sending ripples across the surface. Milo crouched at the edge, pawing at tiny fish darting below. Lila knelt to touch the water, smiling at their curiosity, while Harold scanned the trees, noting a rare bird nesting nearby. The stray cat crept closer, nose twitching at scents carried by the breeze. Sunlight flickered through leaves, casting dancing shadows over the group. Max barked softly at a jumping fish, Milo pounced beside him. Lila whispered encouragement, enjoying the simple connection. Harold's smile widened, watching the natural harmony unfold. Each moment deepened bonds between human and animal, grounding them in the forest's tranquil rhythm. Afternoon brought a gentle breeze, rustling the tall grass near a small clearing. Max rolled happily, sending leaves scattering. Milo chased shadows, darting from side to side. Lila spread a small picnic blanket, unpacking snacks, while Harold collected nearby wild herbs with careful precision. The stray cat watched silently from a fallen log, curious yet cautious. Sunlight filtered softly through clouds, giving the scene a warm, golden tone. Max barked at a butterfly landing nearby. Milo leapt to follow, their movements synchronized like dancers. Lila laughed, enjoying the lively spectacle, while Harold's gaze softened, appreciating the peaceful rhythm of life around them. The forest seemed to hold its breath, wrapped in harmony and subtle joy. Evening descended slowly, turning the sky shades of crimson and lavender. Max lay beside Lila, eyes half closed, Milo curled on his back, tail flicking lazily. Harold sat cross-legged nearby, sketching the scenery in a notebook, lost in thought. The stray cat perched on a tree branch, eyes reflecting fading light. Lila whispered, "Today was perfect," stroking both animals with quiet affection. Max twitched in his dreams, Milo purred softly. The wind carried the faint scent of wildflowers and damp earth. Each heartbeat in the forest echoed calm and contentment. Lila and Harold exchanged quiet glances, a deep understanding passing between them. The scene radiated peace, unity, and the gentle promise of tomorrow's adventures. Morning mist rolled over the hill, shrouding the landscape in soft gray hues. Max padded carefully along the damp grass, ears flicking, nose twitching. Milo darted around him, chasing floating droplets of mist. Lila adjusted her scarf, eyes tracing the contours of the fog-laden valley. Harold scanned the horizon with binoculars, noting distant movements among trees. The stray cat slinked silently, almost blending into the mist, its tail curling with cautious curiosity. Sunlight began to pierce the fog, forming streaks across the dewy ground. Max barked softly, breaking the quiet. Milo leapt toward him, paws skimming the wet earth. The group moved in careful harmony, every step measured, every sense alert, yet warmed by the soft ethereal morning. By late morning, the fog lifted, revealing a sunlit meadow sprinkled with wildflowers. Max bounded with energy, ears flapping, tail wagging as he chased invisible scents. Milo crouched low, stalking a butterfly among blooms. Lila knelt, collecting wildflowers carefully, brushing soil from petals with delicate fingers. Harold examined a nearby tree, observing patterns in the bark, taking mental notes. The stray cat remained aloof but alert, watching their every move. Birds called from distant branches, harmonizing with rustling leaves. Max barked and rolled in the sun-warmed grass. Milo joined him, pouncing and rolling, their movements synchronized. Lila and Harold shared smiles, enjoying the spontaneous joy of creatures at play. As afternoon approached, clouds gathered, casting fleeting shadows across the meadow. Max sniffed the air warily, tail raised, ears alert. Milo darted between flowers, occasionally pausing to glance at Max. Lila opened a small backpack, retrieving a journal and pencil to sketch a flower she admired. Harold knelt to inspect soil patterns, gently turning over a stone to reveal hidden insects. The stray cat prowled near a tree, glancing at the group, but keeping its distance. The wind carried a hint of rain, rustling leaves in a low whisper. Max barked, sensing a shift in weather, and Milo raced to hide behind him. Lila and Harold exchanged a glance, silently acknowledging nature's unpredictable rhythm. The meadow felt alive, teetering between calm and sudden change, every moment charged with quiet anticipation. Rain began as a soft drizzle, the meadow transforming into a shimmering carpet of droplets. Max shook his fur, droplets flying, ears flattened, eyes bright with excitement. Milo ducked beneath a large leaf, watching raindrops splatter around him. Lila opened a lightweight umbrella, shielding both herself and her sketchbook, while Harold quickly secured his backpack against the wet. The stray cat darted behind a small bush, tail flicking nervously. Lightning briefly illuminated the distant hills, followed by a soft rumble of thunder. Max yipped, Milo squeaked, and the humans laughed at the sudden drama. The rain painted the landscape in sparkling hues, reflections dancing across each surface. Nature's energy felt immediate, unpredictable, and vividly alive. By evening, the storm had passed, leaving the meadow glistening under a soft amber sunset. Max lay beside Lila, dripping fur catching the warm light, tail thumping lazily. Milo nestled on his back, purring softly, tiny body pressed into damp fur. Harold leaned against a tree, watching sunlight glint off wet leaves, sketchbook resting in his lap. The stray cat emerged cautiously, inspecting puddles and sniffing the air. Lila whispered words of affection, stroking Max and Milo gently, smiling at their damp but happy faces. Birds returned to their branches, calling across the meadow. Each exhaled breath carried calm and relief. The sky deepened into amber and violet, the world quieting. In this moment, humans and animals shared a serene understanding of survival, joy, and the beauty of fleeting moments.